Who do you think is going to win the League of Legends World Finals this year? The general consensus around the community seems to be Korea. Way back in OGN Spring when Samsung Blue took first place, outclassing nearly everyone, the comments on every discussion thread across the internet were riddled with things like "Congratulations to the Season 4 World Champions, Samsung Blue." These comments resurfaced again when Blue became the first team from Korea to acquire enough circuit points, qualifying them for the World Finals, where once again people commented on their accomplishment with things like, "Guess we know who's going to win Worlds this year." Although a few teams have been able to dethrone them recently, showing others and showing the world that they aren't invincible, most esports fans still seem convinced that the best team from Korea is going to win Worlds this year yet again. And I hate it. I hate how everyone is so sure that Korea has already won. I hate what little faith they have in any other region even taking a single game off them, and I loathe how it makes me feel, why even bother watching if we already know for certain who's gonna take it all? It's fine to say that someone is favorited to win the Summoners Cup, of course, but when you tell me outright not to even bother watching because you know for certain who that's gonna be, that's when I start to have a problem with it. If I had to bet my savings, I'd say yeah, Korea has the best chance out of any region of winning Worlds this year, for certain. That was true for last year, and honestly it was true the year before it. There's a reason teams from every region are boot camping in Korea right now, rather than China or any other region in preparation for the upcoming international competition. Korea really is ahead of everyone right now, with players that are able to succeed in a much more supportive environment. I'm not denying that, but the supposed best team or region who's never ever gonna be dethroned isn't what sports are about, and it's certainly not what I think esports are about. Do you guys remember Seasons 1 and 2? The North American scene specifically seemed gridlocked in the most horrible of ways back then, so that we'd always have the same few teams representing us at international competitions. TSM and CLG were the oldest and best teams around at the time, and they had the most experience, better funding from sponsors, and more skillful veteran players than any other team out there, making it seem impossible for anyone to dethrone them. With more money, skill, experience, and infrastructure, how could anyone beat them head to head? CLG in particular even took part in strategies like just not practicing against any up-and-coming teams so nobody could have experience or know what to expect when they got matched up against them in a tournament. It may sound crazy for today's standards, they never got better themselves due to no consistent scrimming, but they didn't need to get better since they were already at the top and nobody else was able to get better either and achieve the same level of skill, preventing anyone from seriously competing. These top few teams got better and better, making it to the finals of one tournament after another, and after only playing each other for so long, it seemed inevitable that they would just continue dominating the region forever. They were so far ahead, how could any amateur team beat them when nobody has had as much practice, experience, or knowledge as these seasoned pros? But then out of nowhere, bam! An amateur team named Rock Solid came out of nowhere and started beating everybody. This was a lineup of misfits who gets destroyed on paper by any decently experienced team, but had a few tricks up their sleeves to qualify for some major tournaments. They had a jungler named Jat who ran Phoenix Udyr, which everyone thought was inferior to Tiger at the time, and a support player named Locust who ran Support Gangplank, something nobody had ever run before. Not only were these guys beating the quote-unquote real pros in scrims, minor tournaments, and other practice matches, but they were doing it with supposedly worse champions that you got fun of and reported for playing in solo queue. Against all odds, these guys burst into the pro scene, qualifying for one tournament after another, and started knocking down one titan after another. In the Rampage King of the Hill series, where they made their major debut, they beat every team they came across, going undefeated throughout. Complexity 2-0'd, CLG 2-1, Curse 2-0'd, TSM 2-1, and even SK Gaming and Fnatic, Europe's strongest teams at the time, lost to these unknown newcomers, and that was only the beginning of their dominance before others began catching up. It didn't matter that other teams knew that they would run Support Gangplank, it didn't matter that they had such little hope or experience. This was a team that was suddenly making the League of Legends competitive scene more interesting for everyone to watch, and was sponsored by the Dignitas organization in just a few weeks because of it. They were a team that showed us anyone can dethrone champions if they're willing to step up to the plate, which has been proven a number of times since then. Nowadays, we have plenty of newcomers in all regions that show us every single day nobody is invincible. Korea is the best region out there right now, and they may very well win Worlds this year. You might be watching this video sometime in the future coming back to say Korea beat everyone after all, you were wrong, but that's not what I really care about. I care about rooting for the underdog and making that upset happen. I care about the next team to emerge from the Challenger circuit and beat all the veterans against all the odds, and I care about supporting my favorite regions and my favorite teams until their nexus finally does go down no matter what. Sports aren't about who we think or supposedly know is going to win, they're about which players are going to step up to the plate and play their hearts out on any given day. It just takes a few games of extraordinary play to make an upset happen, so I encourage you all to get hyped up for every region, every team, and every player that we're going to see at Worlds this year, regardless of how far you think they're going to make it. Korea certainly has the advantage on everyone else right now. There is always going to be a favorite in any sporting competition, but I'm going to be pulling for my personal favorites regardless of their chances. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck in solo queue and have a wonderful day.